Yeah, if you guys don't mind speaking to the mics, it helps with the recording and stuff. But Jim, whenever you're ready.
Can I call this meeting of ARSA for Thursday, September 18th to order? We all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Are there any questions or discussion or additions, corrections anybody wants to make? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda pass. We'll move on then to item 5, the administrative agenda, and we'll start with the Henderson Dam repair update.
Yeah, but basically today, we just really wanted to give you guys updates on a bunch of stuff. So we'll have Dan give the update on Henderson, but there's no motions or anything that we're really asking, just giving you guys updates.
Yeah, so we built the pump around and that seems to be working pretty good. We built a riprap wall in front of it to keep the sludge out. We did find some boards down in the coffer, whatever you want to call that, before the valve, the vault, or before the valve. And those appear to work, but they seem a little flimsy. They were kind of bowing out. So the idea.
What was the function of the boards?
I think it was to hold the sludge back because the angle is very, very steep down into the vault, the valve.
Okay.
And so they're just boards. It's kind of like a weir, so they're just boards that they put up there. But they only had it up about 4 or 5 feet up. And so we want to make it taller and in front of it. So we have more of a sludge barrier, if you want to say. And then we're also talking about maybe putting a trash rack over the top, something to keep large debris out. So that's what's happening on the bottom. We've cleaned the pipe a couple times. I should tell you that when we started looking into the pipe, it turns out that the ductile pipe is pretty much gone, but there was concrete around the whole pipe. So that concrete is still intact. So what we're planning to do now is to get a chain and hydro out the rest of the pipe, and then we're just going to cure in place instead of doing a slip lining. It'll be faster, cheaper, allow us to do other things while we're doing the job. The pier rebuild would be one of those. And so we're now waiting for the next round of cleaning and removal of the pipe is going to be next Tuesday or Wednesday. Once that video is done, we can send it to DSOD. They will approve that, and then we can finish working on it. Our schedule has slipped about a week or so. So we're thinking we're going to be done about October 10th now instead of the 1st. So trying to think of other things that we have. Yeah, we're just waiting for a lot of engineering calcs and stamps right now. That's kind of what we're doing this week and probably most of next week with the cleaning on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Is the entire length of the underdrain encased in concrete?
Up to the vault, up to the, where the Y is for the dumping valve. And then past that, it'll all be open cut.
And I know you don't need to get really technical, but I'm just curious, what is the cure in place process, or how does that work?
You just kind of put a liner in there, and then you impregnate it with either steam or UV, something like that.
They blow it in?
Blow it up. Yeah, you blow it up, and then it goes all around the side. So you have to have a very clean pipe because whatever you put onto it, it'll just take that shape. It doesn't
Mhm.
have its own shape. So you're kind of just lining it. You're not really actually putting a pipe. All the structure is coming from the concrete. So the pipe has to be very clean before we do that.
And that'll go all the way from the sump inside the reservoir out to the,
Yeah, through the 22.5 degree,
Mhm.
all the way about 30 feet from the dumping valve from that concrete box.
So the scope of, or the end product is no different. It's just the means of what,
Yeah.
of how it's going to achieve it.
Yeah, finding that there was concrete all around it really helped out because we thought there wasn't a bottom. So that's why we were going to slip line it, because you wouldn't be able to slip line. You wouldn't be able to cure in place with something that didn't have a bottom, because you'd have to have the structure of it. But since we have concrete all around, we're very confident.
Oh, see, I sort of envisioned they just put the pipe in and then dump concrete on top. It was actually
It was all the way
from the
around.
bottom.
Yeah, it was like a foot, more than a foot all the way around. So yeah, it was a lot of concrete that they used back in the day. And there's only like minimal spalding on the concrete, so we think most of it will be fine actually.
Great. Any other questions or?
We're hoping for the week yeah, we don't know for sure yet, but it's going to be that first week of October, we're pretty sure. And then we have like a week of
Yeah, me too. Do you have to bring in a different sub to do that or?
no,
can they do-
NorCal's the one who's cleaning the pipe, and they'll do the same thing.
Because they've been on board the whole time. They didn't,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so it'll be the same contractor, sub to
Mhm.
Jeff.
Interesting. Email or something?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, just again, there's a lot of parties involved here, and with this change, we're getting a little bit worried about the calendar. We got to get this done before it starts to rain.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, again. Yeah, don't hold that anything on my account.
Well,
It is well.
No, I wasn't reacting to that. I'm just saying in general, these changes now, we're sitting here waiting for sign off, and it goes between like three parties back and forth.
Yeah.
So yeah, like nothing's happening today out there, right? We're just,
Yeah, no, nothing's been happening for the last couple days.
You
Yeah.
do some kind of, you said to use a chain, they're gonna like just drag it through? Or
Yeah, so it's kind
spin
of
around and
it's kind of like a hydro, but then you have a chain attached to the end of it, and so you just kind of it goes around and
high pressure water and a little
Yeah,
mechanical. Yeah.
yeah, and you make
Yeah.
sure the chain's not too big so that it's hitting the concrete too much. So you do it like right up to the edge, and then it just kind of pulls over there.
Right.
Because we could see with the hydros, it was coming through. The ductile iron pipe was kind of falling off the ceiling and kind of off the sides, but then it just wasn't coming all the way off. We thought we could get it with the water,
So you're gonna get all that out.
but we got to get all of it out. Yeah. And so once we get that clear pipe, and then we can send that to DSOD, then they will approve doing the next phase. So,
Okay.
but we got to get there first.
All right.
I don't know off the top of my head. I'm guessing 50 to 100 years, probably something like that. So
It's kind of like comes out like a cured plastic kind
Yeah.
of stuff, right?
mhm.
They do
Yeah.
it all in one shot, or they have to go back and multiple ply?
No, usually they do one shot. Yeah,
Okay.
usually they pull the whole thing, and then they either steam inject it, or they put air in it, and then they push a little thing through that UVs all the way down.
So it's not a chemical reaction, it's.
It could be there's a bunch of different methods you can use. So whatever the contractor thinks is the best. I think they're mostly going to UV at this point, but I'm not sure. I know they used to do it by steam all the time, but I think now it's more UV.
Okay. All right, then we want to go to the item B then?
sure. So you guys got a copy of this joint water balance to the water board. This has been, it's kind of the end of a long process. So again, we all did individual balances, ION, CDCR, ARSA. Then we were meeting kind of every other week as a group, putting together the joint document. You know, the water board has told everybody they're going to issue new permits. So that's kind of the next step after this. We haven't had any response to the final joint report yet. So we're waiting to hear the response. For ARSA, you know, we're going to lose the Bowers field. They've told us they won't allow that in the new permit. It's kind of a big blow. I mean, that field actually handles the whole treatment plant's output pretty much all summer long. So, you know, we're seeing right now with the work in Henderson, you know, it's absorbed everything. So
Is that gonna work? Is the water balance gonna work without the disposal on Bowers?
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's in all those detailed tables there. You know, the big thing is CDCR has to bring on some substantially new spray fields, and you know that they have quite a large reservoir.
So then it sounds like then a lion's share of the disposal is gonna shift from Bowers to CDCR's spray fields.
Well,
It's gotta go somewhere.
ours will go to Castle Oaks, I guess. Yeah, and I guess there'll
Well,
be less CDCR water in Castle Oaks. So there were two changes. The water board, you know, wants both CDCR and Ione to make sure there's no leakage into the creek. So that, you know, the other change they had was a big one on Ione was getting rid of or lining, I think, two of their ponds. And at the same time, Ione's making a lot of plans. They want to connect their secondary plant to the tertiary plant, which, you know, would add more water into this joint balance. So right now, none of that is approved, you know, with the water board. And so it's kind of, it's caught up in kind of everybody's plans and kind of, you know, if we build our own plant and move off, then Ione can connect their plant and
To make
support,
up the difference.
yeah, support all their new development. I mean, they don't have enough capacity for all the development they have going on.
Did they give a reason why we can't use Bowers?
The flooding, they don't want us to flood it, right?
Yeah, they don't allow flood irrigation anymore. They used to allow that. Now they don't anymore.
But they didn't give a reason why they don't allow that anymore. Some environmental impact.
Yeah.
assume.
Because
it's
it's worked for 50 years. They have
Yeah.
to-
Well, as Pat Crew always says, if it makes sense and it works, we probably can't do it.
Yeah.
I think part of the, I mean, it works because Bowers is out there every day making it work. I think that might
That's
be part
true.
of what they don't like. So-
It's pretty much reliant on one person. So there's not a lot of redundancy if there's a problem.
Well, it's the same thing with the lining of the ponds. You know, they always used to have ponds that didn't have liners, and now all of a sudden everything's got to be lined. You know, so that's a whole new change that everybody has to go through. You know, and it's very expensive. So, yeah, it's a flood irrigation spray field. Yeah.
It could probably be retrofitted.
Could it become a spray field? I think is the idea.
Oh, it probably could. You'd have to look at the.
I don't know if that's a pressurized pipe to the
Yeah.
point or not, but you'd
I
have to
thought the
probably
feeling-
put a pump.
Yeah, and I thought the feeling was it might be too small.
It might be too small. Yeah, you usually need more land for the application, you know, rather than just flooding. So it's a possibility, you know.
There's probably some other areas if we're going to build new spray fields that are larger that would make more sense.
But in a perfect world, Sutter Creek in 6 years will have a tertiary plant and make all of this a moot point. The upper system anyway.
Right. So that's the plan is start talking to the water board about the new plant and have them delay writing any new permits so that, you know, they just let us keep doing what we're doing.
At least it should weigh in on the implementation of what's required, I would think, I would hope.
So that you're not gonna revoke the ability to flood Bowers until they issue a new permit, is that right?
Right. So it's really how fast do they issue these permits?
That's the best news I've heard so far.
We're waiting on the speed of,
I think they usually they're about a couple years. So if they're moving really fast, so might be really good news.
Any communication Bowers about all this?
I haven't talked to him recently. Have you?
I mean, I know Corey talks to them all the time, but yeah, I don't know if we're always in communication, but yeah.
It based on the latest update.
I know he talked to Jeff a couple days ago, so that's how we knew that it was starting to get flooded, or starting to get saturated.
Yeah,
So
I think she's saying that we may not be able to give him water in 2 years. Like, has anybody
oh
had
yeah,
that conversation?
no, I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah, I think we should. Any more on that we want to cover, Tom, or?
No, I mean, it kind of leads into the next one.
Okay, well then let's go to the next one.
Yeah, and for Claire and Jim, yeah, we kind of went over this Monday night, so yeah,
Just
it was
briefly.
it was the big item
Yeah.
of the night. So, the report there kind of summarizes kind of the history of how we got here. There've been several master plans done, looking at alternatives. A new plant that could dispose into Sutter Creek was the preferred alternative. And kind of this year, we've continued to work on our I&I issues, leaks in the collection system. We hired Hydroscience, has done work on our system over the years and knows it pretty well to be our advocate and kind of be the city's wastewater engineer for a new plant. We put out an RFP. We had about 6 or 7 firms that we were talking to. 2 of them submitted proposals, and we selected Schneider Electric to do a design build contract for the plant. And so on Monday, there was the contract for this. It went to council, and council approved it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with design build, but it's basically hiring one company to do all the engineering and design, and then they're also responsible for building it. And the idea is you save time and that you don't do design and then put that design out to build and somebody else comes in, and then you have to pause while you're doing that. But then they also say, hey, you missed all these things in the design. And
That's the
change
big
order.
thing. I think the same people are invested in really invested in the design because they're going to build it.
Right. And so you get to a 60% design and they give you a guaranteed maximum price. And they're basically saying we can build it for this price. So we thought that was the best bet to really manage costs. We did it under this energy savings procurement process the state has, which lets us actually roll all the costs and finance it. So typically Sutter Creek would have to pay for the design and then pay for the construction. But we feel like, again, managing the costs as closely as we can by doing the design build and then being able to finance the whole thing is our best chance of actually being able to get it done. So there's 3 phases. The first phase is really a lot of the regulatory stuff and assessment. The plant is in a FEMA floodplain, which is a huge thing we need to get resolved. There was a detailed flood study done through the city and it stops right before the wastewater plant. So we need to refine that. Schneider has kind of assembled a team of experts that they think can address all these things. So we have a firm that's kind of an expert in FEMA. So if we can show that either the floodplain's a foot or 2 below the level of the plant, or modify the retaining wall there. I mean, there's different options, but if we can keep the plant where it is, it's going to be the lowest cost. It's flat, but it's also closest to the creek. We also have CEQA and the water board. So all of those kind of regulatory issues to be addressed in this first phase. That's going to take about 240 days. Costs would be about $500,000. And then we go into design, and there's kind of two phases for design, a 30% design, then a 60% design. And then there's the construction contract, which would be this guaranteed price, but it will have all the details based on the design that came out. Part of this proposal was to use a package plant, and they're recommending the Cloacina package plant. This is a company based in San Luis Obispo. They built over 100 wastewater plants. And again, we think it's a way we can manage cost. It's a design that they've iterated on over and over, and most wastewater plants are custom. And when you build them, you usually have a year or two of fixing issues as it kind of gets up and running.
And this,
What's that?
this typically, the packaged ones avoids those issues of which you just mentioned.
Right. The core of
Right.
it's built. You have to kind of, plumb it up.
Plumb it in, but,
Yeah.
but the actual treatment part of it is a assembly line kind of unit, right?
Yep. And it's for Logan and Bruce, the council had also passed earlier, putting in an order for solar panels and battery storage. The new plant will use more power. And there were a lot of tax incentives that were going to go away December 31st. So we actually put in some orders to hopefully take advantage of those before they expire. So it's kind of a 6 to 8 year timeline. There's still a lot of unknowns. That's part of the design build, is we kind of work together with them to work out all the details.
Is one of the unknowns the estimated overall cost?
Yeah, so the estimate right now is it's a wide range, 25 to 40 million. And
Financed,
what's that?
financed over 30 years or
Right.
something.
But as we kind of go through each phase, supposedly that range will narrow down until we get to that exact price.
And that all gets paid by the citizens of Sutter Creek.
Yeah, I mean, it's a regional plant, so it's Martell, Amador City, and Sutter Creek.
Do we know what that, like an estimate of what that divides out to on the bill per person? I mean, or per household?
Well, we I don't have a number per person. We took our current rate plan and we submitted it to the California iBank to see how much money we could borrow. And they said it was about 25 to 30 million. So we potentially have a $5 to $10 million gap that we need to look for grants or some kind of funding over the next couple of years. So that's kind of the next focus, is while this design is happening, to kind of assemble the funding.
That was based on our current revenue and revenue stream with the rate that we have now and the plan increases. Okay.
Correct. But I mean, I really hope that we'll be able to get a couple of grants. It's not going to be borne 100% by the ratepayers.
It's getting expensive to live here. It is what it is, but
It's expensive to live anywhere.
yeah.
I mean, you got to remember the plant is from the 40s.
Yeah. I mean, another way to look at it is we have a ton of deferred maintenance on the ARSA pipeline, which is about the same cost as a new plant.
That's true.
And
Well, it was actually, I mean, of all the alternatives, the new plant was the least expensive. When
Right.
you-
and then
when
with
you-
them telling, with the regulations changing and them writing us a new permit, we can't just stay at the status quo. So it was either upgrade the plant or upgrade ARSA in some way. And again, given all the growth in Ione, if we stayed within ARSA, I think it would restrict Sutter Creek's ability or Martell's ability to add
You'd be at their
any new
whim.
customers. Yeah.
No, they just seem like unavoidable inevitabilities, but water agency's going 100 million in debt right now, and it's just a lot of debt.
Yeah.
And these Cocina plant treatment modules or whatever we're going to call it is expandable, correct?
Yeah, I mean, they're modular. I think, well, again, we haven't done the design, but
And-
the concept, I think, was two units initially. And then again, it will be kind of high quality reclaimed water. So if we get any customers in the future, you know, I think part of the concept was to leave room for a pumping station to pump recycled water somewhere. But that would be paid for by somebody that wanted to use it. So
Okay.
I think it was a major milestone for the city. I mean, we've been stuck in planning for a long time. But, you know, we're not there yet, but we're just kicking off this next phase.
Well, I've been here almost 15 years and it was an issue then when I started.
So that's it. We just wanted to really update the ARSA board on all these things.
Okay, then, I don't know, is there anything you want to add under the general manager's report?
No, I think
I
that
didn't
was
think
it.
so. We have no closed session, so unless there's any other questions or concerns from the board members, we'll adjourn now.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.